It is player profile time here on YS and DJ Yoakley with you. And I am super honored and just absolutely tickled pink to the fact that this young lady, our next guest, is going to join us, who, at least here on YSN, is widely considered if not the greatest of all time to ever do it on the basketball court. We are going to bring in the all-time leading scorer in Columbiana County on the basketball court, a 2,000 point scorer in her career, and the all-time record holder for 3 points in the Southern Locals program history. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in the GOAT, Ashley Shroades. Ash, what's up?
Not too much. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor. I mean, when we're talking about someone who's done that sport, basketball, a sport that, so many have played before you, so many will play after you, but very few will do it as well as you've done it over your 4 years, and you're not done yet. What is it like to have that shine? I mean, I know when you started as a freshman, you knew you were special. You felt like you could be something special. You've put your time into it, your efforts, your resources. For you to know that you've checked the box on nearly everything, what does that feel like?
It feels really good to kind of leave no stone unturned. You kind of did everything you could possibly do to be the greatest of all time in this area. So it feels really good. And just to have people like looking up to you. I had a junior high boy today. He got a hold of me and he told me that he really looks up to me and he wants to be like me one day. So it feels good whenever you can kind of like make both boys and girls look at you and want to be like you. So it feels good to have that.
I think it's really incredible from a standpoint of being a role model, right? That you've embraced that. And you talk about not just girls, but boys coming up to you saying, hey, I want to be like you when I get older. At the ripe old age of 17, 18 years old. And that's pretty special. But I heard a story the other day about a group of girls that have started to wear headbands around because Ashley Shroades wears the headband. It's a signature look. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of you until this day without a headband. So for you to see that, to hear that around town, and not just in your community, but in others, that people want to be like you. I mean, it's the Michael Jordan effect. How does that make you feel?
Right. That feels awesome to me because I never thought it'd get that way. I was just like growing up, I just wanted to play basketball and be good at it. I never thought I would get to this point, and to just like influence the younger kids to want to be like me. That feels really special. So it feels good.
I think it's incredible because it's not just the choices that you're making on the basketball floor, but the choices that you're making, when you're at home, when you're doing your homework, when you're doing, what you're doing in the classroom, what you're doing in your community, that people want to emulate, because nobody just wants to be a basketball player. They're not saying we just want to be Ashley Shroades on the floor. They want to be you off the floor as well. How hard has it been for you to be able to balance that, being great on the floor, but being great in other aspects of your life as well?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been doable. Like this past week, I had 10 college assignments to get done on top of playing 3 games and traveling to those games. And I've been able to manage it. I've been scoring 30 points in like each of those games. So it's kind of been a challenging week, but at the same time, you're able to do it. You just got to find time to focus on school and then also balance it out with practices and games. So it's doable, but it's a lot of work for sure. You got to be focused and driven to do it.
Where did you get that focus, that drive that you just talked about? I mean, is it something that you had to work on, that you had to tweak and kind of build up yourself? Or is that something that you had the whole time? Maybe something your parents gave you?
Yeah, I think it's something my parents definitely gave me. My parents, they raised me to be kind of a confident young lady. My dad, he always was hard on me when we were younger. We played basketball. He'd be the first one to knock me down in football. So it feels good kind of having your parents instill that. I mean, my mom, I look up to her so much because she's kind of the strongest lady I know. Like, she's not afraid. She's quiet, but she's not afraid to like say how it is and stand up and stick up for herself. So I kind of like look up to them and I want to be like them. And then coach, he's kind of like molded me into having like more of a focus on certain things. Like the focus I have for basketball, I had it my freshman year, but it's kind of gotten better over time because he's kind of like showed me what it's like to like focus on one thing at a time. So those three people, they really helped me with that focusing part.
I'm really interested because coach talked about your stature. He said 5'4". Nobody wants to take a chance on her at the college level because she's 5'4". You right now lead the points category in Division 4. We were just told, with over
Yeah,
500
thank
points,
you.
something that they kept from you, because they just wanted you to go and do your thing. For you, where do you want to go? I mean, you don't have to name colleges, but where can you see yourself playing? Do you want to play? I guess is the next question. And then why do you want to continue your
Yeah.
career after knowing what you done in high school, and I'm sure ambitions that you want to be like that in whatever career or role that you end up in as your life continues?
Yeah, I definitely want to go somewhere and play at the next level. I'm kind of looking to go somewhere like Division 2. I really want to go just so it'll be a little bit cheaper and hopefully to get some of it paid for. But even Division 3, if it's close to home, I will probably go to it. But I definitely want to focus on my career. I want to be a veterinarian, so the pre-vet or a biology major, something of that sorts I want to do. And just getting that done and then be able to play basketball on the side would be a lot of fun for me.
All right, so I got to ask, the competitor that you are, how do you go from a competitive, basketball, volleyball, multi-sport athlete world, and it's Southern local versus the world, to being a veterinarian where you're not the only thing you're competing against is trying to bring animals back?
I know, it's crazy, but it's something I've been passionate about since I was like 8 years old. I got my first rabbit and then I just fell in love with animals ever since then. And I just want to do anything I can to like help them out in any way. So it's just something I've always wanted to do.
For you, when you were growing up, a young athlete, who did you look up to and why?
I probably looked up to my mom the most. She always said that she played basketball and volleyball, and she would tell stories about her coaches and how they helped her out. And just the athlete she was, she told me that she got like an athletic scholarship to Ohio State, not to play, but just some money to go there. And I just kind of like looked up to her in that aspect. And I was like, well, maybe I want to get some money too to go play somewhere for athletics. And then it just kind of turned into, I don't know, working towards it every day to be the best at it. I just kind of went crazy over it.
Well, I mean, it's crazy to some, but in order to do some of the things that you've done, you kind of have that kind of had to have that crazy side to you, right? If
Yeah,
you want to be
right.
successful, you got to go longer and further than anybody else. So, what are what are some of the things that you've done that you're like, you look back and you're like, okay, maybe that was a little much?
um, well, me and coach, we did a lot of workouts through the summer, and I want to say it was sophomore year. We did a lot of like high intensity workouts. We would push the sled like 10 down and backs, and then we do like 500 box jumps, but it was all in like a circuit. So it was like we do 20 box jumps, go push the sled down and back, go do 20 more box jumps until we got to 500. And those were kind of like super brutal workouts that it was kind of like, why did we even do that? But now it got us to this point. So I guess it worked. But yeah, that's something that I was just like, that was a little brutal.
I mean, you've basically cleaned house on every record that Southern Local owns. You've dipped into other county records, things of that nature, and naturally you scored 2,000 points in what I think is an age that it's tough enough to score 1,000, and you doubled that up, young lady. What do you want? I mean, if you had to think and write your own legacy and how people would remember you as you're 4 years through Southern Local as a Lady Indian, what do you want people to most remember about you and what you left behind?
Probably that I became the greatest basketball player that ever came through Southern Local, but I also carried the best attitude through it all. I'm probably one of the nicest persons anybody will ever meet. So just having that, like both sides to that, the kindness factor and being super athletic, I think that's something I want people to remember me by. Not that I was a selfish person that just wanted to score points. I could do it all and be a great teammate as well.
I'm really interested because there's a lot of people that'll sit and say, well, she just scored a lot of points, like you just said, but you keep that
Yeah.
smile and you talk about yourself being an incredibly nice person, which you are. but there's got to be a chip on that shoulder, right? And I've heard stories
Yeah.
about people saying that, well, Ashley can't go left. So you work in the gym for 2 hours on going left and you can't shoot threes. So you come out and you shoot all the threes and you break the record for being the all-time leading three ball specialist in Southern local history. Where does that chip on your shoulder lie, and how do you balance it between being a really nice person, which you are, and being a
Yeah.
person like that has that Mamba mentality?
Yeah, I definitely keep it like in the back of my head. Just every day I kind of like repeat the things that like people said I couldn't do. I don't go around talking about it, spreading it around school or anywhere saying like, hey, this person said I couldn't do this. I just keep it in the back of my head and I just work on it every day to get better at it and then prove them wrong. So it's kind of like a silent stab that I give back to them.
Silent assassin is what it is. I love it.
Yeah.
For you, what is left? I mean, you've got, well, about what, 3 months, 3.5 months left of your career as a, a senior. What's left for you to
Right.
do that you want to accomplish?
I know I'm super close to the season assist record. I think I'm about, I want to say 15 away, maybe a little closer. So that's definitely another goal that I want to get my name on the record board. And just finishing the season with my teammates. They all been here for me through it all. So just being able to spend time with them for these last 3 weeks and then going into tournament and hopefully making a good run and ending on a good note. I want to go as far as we can go, win a few championships, and end it on a good note.
Well, that kind of leads me into the next question. I mean, hopefully your fondest memory is raising a Division IV state championship. However,
Right.
what has
right.
been your fondest memory so far?
Probably beating United that both times this year, and now it's kind of balanced out to a 3-way tie in the league because that's something that hasn't been done in like I think 34 years at our school. So being able to like share that, even though I kind of wanted to like have a outright chance of getting it, but it is what it is. We balanced it out. That's probably one of the biggest memories that I had, other than the sectional championship last year versus JFK. That was a really good moment for us too.
We've talked about your folks. We talked a little bit about Coach, but I mean, there's a special relationship from that standpoint. I mean, he spoke like for 30 minutes about you just moments ago in our interview. So, what makes him so special to you? And obviously, he's very different, right, than every other coach out there. But for you, what makes him different? What makes him work for you and the entire program for Southern Local that seemingly
Right.
nobody else has been able to do what he's been able to do and get what you have to come out and be so vibrant?
I think it's just his dedication to everything. Like he bought into me before I even like bought into myself. He was like, hey, you want to be the best player here at Southern Local? And I was like, sure. And he's like, we're going to do everything we can to make you the best player. And he actually stuck to his word. And every day we're doing something to get me towards those goals. And now I've completed them. So it feels really good to have him there for me. And now he's even like going into the youth and he's having me as a role model to them, and they're all loving basketball. They're wanting to get better. And now the generations to come, it's just going to be really good. Coach has really changed the program here at Southern, and I'm super thankful for him.
All right, so now we can get real. Now that we got the shine kind of taken for Coach Scrinjar, the suit game. Talk to me about what you and the other ladies think about the suits and the craziness that comes with Coach Scrinjar.
I don't even know what he's thinking when he puts that on. He like doesn't care what anybody thinks. Like he doesn't care if it's too small. He doesn't care if he doesn't have socks on. We make fun of him. He's just like, keep making fun of me. I don't care. And he just keeps wearing it. So it's just,
I was going to ask you, does he ever wear socks?
Sometimes, but most of the time, no. If he does, it's like the short ankle socks. They can barely see.
I love it. So. I love it. Are you getting your fashion tips from Coach Scrinjar?
No, absolutely not.
Ashley, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today. You certainly are well on your way to being not only a great competitor, a great basketball player, a student athlete that has her name all littered over all record books, but certainly an even better young woman that is going to make a big impact on this world. I can't thank you enough for your time today. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.